The Queen City Cup is back for a battle between the Charlotte Independents and FC Cincinnati. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Corey Cohen with you for the broadcast. My partner tonight is Bruce Silverman. Bruce, these are two teams heading in opposite directions.
You talk about it as the Battle of the Queen City, so one of them is going to end up king if there's a win. This is a game where you look at it, and on paper, it's a mismatch. But Mike Jeffries, the coach of the Jacks, told me earlier in the week that soccer is a game that is made for upsets. And tonight at home, that's exactly what Charlotte is looking to do.
For the visiting Orange and Blue, they'll look to keep an unbeaten streak that hasn't seen them lose in over a month.
Best team in the East, only one loss on the season. This is a roster that is very, very stacked. In fact, guys that aren't even dressing could probably start around the league.
It's pretty incredible what they've been able to amass with this Cincinnati team. Looking at the Jacks, they're hoping to snap their 5-game winless streak and score a goal for the first time since March 31st.
Yeah, Herrera had 2 in that game on the 31st. He will be the target guy up front. We'll talk about him in a moment.
So let's take a look at our player to watch for Cincinnati. That'll be the Argentinian national Emmanuel Ledesma.
Ledesma is lightning in a bottle. He is a guy that obviously wants to score goals, and he scores a lot of them. And he's also a very, very creative player. So look for him to get the ball early and often, looking to find the back of the net.
And for Charlotte, as you mentioned, Bruce, the man hoping to jumpstart their offense is Jorge Herrera.
Herrera will be one of those guys, along with Zayed, that the Independents really want to get the ball to. Herrera has the 4 goals this season. He needs to score tonight if the Jacks want to stay in this game.
We've got 2 teams known as the Queen City. One has been streaking red hot. The other has been ice cold. We'll see what happens tonight in the first leg of the Queen City Cup. It'll begin right after this on ESPN+.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
Back here, just about ready for this Queen City Cup to get started. Here live from the Sportsplex at Matthews in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, with Bruce Silverman, I'm Corey Cohen. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for FC Cincinnati. This team, as you mentioned, perhaps the best roster assembled in the USL. They're in first place. Let's take a look at what they've got.
Yeah, you look at Koenig and Ledesma up top, but then you got Lahoud and Ryan, Bone, Walker. That's a midsection that will make anybody's mouth water. Blake Smith, Lasso, just all the way back to Spencer Ritchie once again in the pipes tonight. That is the lineup you want to run out if you're looking for 3 points.
Absolutely. And now we take a look at the starting 11 for the Charlotte Independents presented by Novant Health.
Yeah, for me, the big thing is what happens up top with Zayed, Herrera, and Martinez. Expecting this to become a little bit more of a 4-2-3-1 with Joel Johnson going forward, with Zayed being that poacher up top. You see that back line nice and solid in front of Brandon Miller.
So, again, you've got a big advantage for FC Cincinnati. They've been red hot. They've got a fantastic starting 11. But soccer is a game of upsets. You've got Charlotte here at home. The Jacks hoping to turn things around, certainly get 1 point, if not 3, and really put a stop to this winless streak.
And you look at Cincinnati and you talk about how good they are. They may even be better on the road. They are unbeaten on the road. Only loss of the season came in a 1-0 loss at home at Nippert against Lou City, which, hey, if you're going to lose, you might as well lose to the champions, right? But also, Cincinnati is a team that plays better against the teams at the top of the table. And for Charlotte, tonight is about gaining confidence. They need to press high. They need to go at Cincinnati early and often. And they want to go and get that early goal because that's really going to lift them. Cincinnati is a team that scores goals. So you know if you want to beat Cincinnati, you got to keep them off the board. And if they get on the board, you need to keep that goal output as low as possible.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting because you've got this Independence team that has trouble scoring, that hasn't scored in 4 straight matches. And even if they do find a way to get on the board, get 1 goal, maybe even 2. The past 4 matches for Cincinnati, they've scored 2+ in all of those. So even if you find a way to find the back of the net, FC Cincinnati, an incredibly high-powered team on offense, you're going to have to find a way to stop, like we mentioned, Ledesma and Koenig. We're just about ready to get started here between these two squads. Right now, you see FC Cincinnati traveling the orange and blue, wearing white kits predominantly. You see their captain there, Dekel Kainan, the veteran from Israel who's come over and in his first season has played every minute except the 1 match where he missed and has really taken control of this team, and clearly a huge sign of respect to get that captain's armband.
Nah, you're about to make the point. You made the point that I was about to make. You come over and in your first stop in the United States, you're the captain. That says something about your leadership, especially on a club that has a Mike LaHood, that has a Richie Ryan, guys that have been leaders everywhere they have been. So this should be a match where Cincinnati on paper wins. Charlotte can restart their season right now.
So a lot to be decided here in the first leg of the Queen City Cup. And we are underway. Again, I'm Corey Cohen with you on play-by-play. My partner is Bruce Silverman. Our producer is Brian Duvall. And our director is Brian Navarro. Charlotte heading from the right side of your screen to the left, wearing the blue kits. As we mentioned, visiting FC Cincinnati wearing white. Now heading from the left side of your screen to the right.
Yeah, right now, both teams just trying to establish ball control. And you see what Richie Ryan does so well is getting that ball and being the quarterback. And in that distribution going right to Mr. LaHood.
A nice clearance there by Javon Watson. A huge acquisition for Charlotte. Someone that they're hoping can turn their fortunes around. Was signed 2 weeks ago, made his debut last week. This is a guy that has 73 caps for the Jamaican national team. He scored last year in that big Gold Cup final between Jamaica and the U.S. He's played in a ton of MLS games, and now he's here hoping to really provide a change of culture for the Jacks.
Yeah, big part of the success of the Reggae Boys, and he'll be really solid in the middle of that defense for Charlotte.
Nice little one-touch there, but it is interrupted. Now FC Cincinnati trying to work the ball up. Nobody there.
And one thing that we talked about before the broadcast, the positioning of Michael LaHood. LaHood normally plays on the right, came up as a right fullback, spent a lot of time as a right winger, now playing on the left. He gets the start tonight. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to playing on the left, being a right-footed player.
And we'll see how much time he does spend on the left if they decide to shift, perhaps a few minutes in.
Well, the reason that LaHood playing on the left, they go with the same lineup they did a week ago. The only difference from a week ago is that Jimmy McLaughlin is out, so that's why LaHood playing on the left in place of him. Kenny Walker normally on the right. So it just shows you what kind of depth Cincinnati has, that they can go and just have these interchangeable parts.
McLaughlin and LaHood, two players that spent some time with the Philadelphia Union of the MLS. LaHood was there for 4 seasons from 2012 to 2015 as it's sent into the box just over the net. But the first chance of the game coming from Charlotte, Jorge Herrera looking to find the back of the net.
And that's what Charlotte needs to do. He is that guy they want to get the ball to. Great opportunity, great service. We get an opportunity to take a look at it here. Put right on the spot and just couldn't drive it down going above the bar.
So Herrera with the captain's armband made the first real attempt of the game.
And that's exactly what Charlotte wants to do. They want to play a high line. They want to attack. They need to do a better job in this game than they have previously in transition. They need to move it forward, and getting the ball into the middle to Herrera is exactly what they want to do.
Out of bounds there, last touch off of Koenig. And so here is Charlotte. Watson over to the right side. Sent forward and easily caught by Spencer Ritchie, Ritchie, who has started the last 3 matches. The injury for FC Cincinnati to Evan Newton, he's still questionable as we see that.
And that all happened because Spencer Ritchie had the mishap trying to throw it out to his defender, kind of slipped on him, threw it out. Charlotte on it, tried to chip over the keeper, just found the inside of the net. And you see that shot from distance. If it's on target, there's absolutely nothing that Spencer Ritchie would have been able to do after that unforced error.
And so perhaps a wake-up call for Spencer Ritchie as that's headed out of play, and we'll see a throw-in for FC Cincinnati.
It was just a matter of indecision for Ritchie.
Ritchie has struggled a bit since coming in. He's gotten 5 saves, but he's given up 4 goals, so a save percentage at 55.6. Really relying on a top-notch defense, of course, led by Kenan and Lasso.
Cincinnati right now trying to find a way to move the ball down the pitch. They've had their difficulties. That's why you've seen Charlotte really been the aggressor in this match and a lot more in control of the pace of play.
One touch back from Kai Fischer, the Switzerland native. Spent pretty much his entire career in Switzerland. Grew up in the youth system of Grasshopper Zurich, was there with the pro team from 2005 to 2011, and then spent the last 2 seasons with FC Zurich. He's now come over. And after missing last week with a hamstring injury, he was listed as questionable. He is in the starting 11. Nice footwork there on the right side from Cordell Cato. Knocked away by Richie Ryan. So here's Joel Johnson. Stays in. It was on the line, did not cross over the goal line. And now Charlotte will have the ball, but all the way back in midfield.
Yeah, Charlotte fans wanted to see that corner kick. They're not going to get it, at least not yet. But Charlotte coming out of the locker room and definitely the aggressor right now. Great ball movement.
An opening here in the box, the extra touch, and it's knocked away by Lasso.
Yeah, Fazer was trying to get to that one. Quick throw.
entering the 8th minute of action now. The Independents with more opportunities thus far. Back to Justin Hoyt.
Well, they've made their opportunities. They've really done a nice job of moving the ball up the floor and keeping Cincinnati on their heels. You know, you look at their LaHood with a turnover, and you don't see that very often.
Throw in coming for Charlotte. Joel Johnson will take it. Native of Spain, grew up in the youth system of Valencia. Pretty interesting background. His father from Liberia, his mother from Spain. Grew up in Spain, but has spent much of his adult life, and even young adult life, in the United States.
All the stamps in his passport must look pretty impressive.
And here he is looking for an opening in the midfield. It's deflected, picked up by LaHood. Played back to Dekel Kenan. 33 years old, came over from Israel and he's pretty much a legend back in Israel. He had, from 2002 to 2010, had 136 appearances with Maccabi Haifa, one of the top clubs in the nation. Left for a little bit, came back to Maccabi Haifa from 2012 to 2017, had another 137 apps. And now he's come over to the U.S. He's 33 years old, but a truly storied career in Israel on top of the great club career he's had with Maccabi Haifa. Also 27 caps for the Israeli national team.
Yeah, Maccabi Haifa, great sports legacy, not just in soccer, but also basketball. See another look at that.
LaHood with the slide tackle.
And he's the one that's slow to get up, as you see, came in a little awkward.
Tenth minute now. And you have to give Kenan a lot of credit. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast the fact that he came over, that this is his first club, as there's a big turnover. And now FC Cincinnati, Javon Watson slipped. He's now back on his feet. And Cincinnati slows things down. So they're not working with as much of an advantage anymore. Try to switch fields. It's knocked. And now they find a way to get it to Justin Hoyt. Nice through ball into the box. A cross knocked out of play. Last touch off of Charlotte. And so Ledesma had the right idea there, and we'll see a corner kick coming up for the orange and blue.
Great frame of mind by Ledesma to know exactly where he was on the pitch to earn this corner. So opportunity for him to swing it towards Brandon Miller.
Here's the corner kick. Way too much on that one. And now we'll see a goal kick.
It might have been a little too amped up and a wasted opportunity to go all the way through the box on that one. Give Miller an opportunity to kick this one away. Anytime you have a corner, especially the first corner of the match, you want to be able to turn that into a scoring opportunity, and that one, just no opportunity whatsoever.
There's Brandon Miller, the goalkeeper for Charlotte. Spent last year with Harrisburg City Islanders, now Penn FC.
Starting to see a little bit of a switch in the way that this game is being played. Early on, first 10 minutes, it was really all Charlotte, and last couple of minutes has been all Cincinnati.
Speaking of, about 20 yards out, two men and knocked away. Well done by Sam Vines.
And that was all Corbin Bone trying to go forward and make something happen. Kevin Broadley having a conversation, making sure that everybody is on his page, and the conversation was with Alex Martinez.
Kenny Walker plays it back. Now Cincinnati playing from the left flank into the box. No opportunity there, but the header coming off of Charlotte, it will stay with FC Cincinnati. Here's Walker yet again. Back to Hoyt. Across, way too much, not sure what he was going for. Can it be kept in play? It is. Nice hustle by Blake Smith.
Yeah. Smith has some wheels and was able to catch up with that one.
Tackle, no whistle. So they're saying that was clean from Javon Watson. Intended through ball. It is broken up by Forrest Lasso. So he's done a nice job today in that center back role.
And that role on that left side from that left fullback position for Blake Smith is something to take a look at. We'll take a look at this in a second. And he got ball, which I think is the reason why the whistle when Lahoud went down was not made. Smith is very good with his services on that left side. We saw it a moment ago. There was a little too much air underneath that one a few moments ago. But look for Smith when he has the opportunity to service into the middle to put it pretty much on point and create scoring opportunities for Cincinnati.
Blake Smith from El Paso, Texas, went to the University of New Mexico and was drafted after leaving the Lobos 8th in the 2013 MLS Super Draft. Had 16 appearances for the Montreal Impact in his rookie year. Now the ball with the Independents.
Their ball movement has been outstanding so far in this match. Very few turnovers, very much in stride, which is the reason why you've seen them move forward like they are right now.
They seem to be playing up. You talk about Cincinnati perhaps playing down to competition. In this case, Charlotte is really playing up to their competition.
Well, they've just been really on their game so far tonight. The only thing they really haven't done is get that goal.
Joel Johnson plays it back here in the 15th minute of action.
That also shows a little bit of maturity in the way that they've approached this game, that they brought it into the final third, had to work it all the way back into the middle. But it's that patience as that ball's misplayed. But the patience, if they can stay with this game plan and not get away from this game plan, they can play 90 minutes with Cincinnati. If they start to panic, if they start to get away from what has worked through the first 15 minutes, the wheels could fall off.
Take a look at the weather. You've got a sunny 85 degrees here from the Sportsplex at Matthews, Charlotte, North Carolina. Sunset coming around halftime in this one. So the counterattack coming here. Johnson has it at his feet.
Yeah, they're playing possession-oriented football right now and being very effective in doing so, with the exception of that one right there.
The ref blows his whistle. For a moment, thought he might want to give a card as he was running over towards the ball, but no need there.
And talking to Mike Jeffries, the manager for Charlotte earlier in the week, he told me he wants his team to be better in transition, that they need to be better going forward. And I keep going back to it. With the exception of really two pushes by Cincinnati, it's been Charlotte dictating the pace, so they have been better in transition. They have been better about going forward. They just need to get into that final third and be able to push the ball on net. What I'd like to see when they get to the final third, Herrera's been involved. We haven't seen Zayed involved. We haven't seen Martinez involved yet. When those three get involved in the offense, this could be a very, very interesting game for the Jacks.
Yeah, Charlotte, without a doubt, holding their own. We'll take another look at that tackle that drew a foul call. And it was, without a doubt, a foul.
Yeah, Lee right there getting whistled for the infraction. I think one of the things that Charlotte's done a really good job is neutralizing the impact that Richie Ryan can have in this game. Richie Ryan is a quarterback. He is a guy that is fantastic one touch, two touch. The more that Richie Ryan has to handle the ball, the better it is for the opposing team. You see Richie Ryan touch and distribute, and get involved in the defense. That doesn't bode well for the opponent.
Charlotte working on the counterattack. Here's Martinez. Deflected, but they're still working now on the left wing. Defenders are up. Back to Martinez. The through ball couldn't quite find his man.
Yeah, that was intended for Zayed. Led him a little too much. But great ball movement. Exactly what Charlotte wants to do. And Martinez is saying, all right, I got it. And the reality is that that's what Alex Martinez needs to do. We were talking a moment ago about getting Zayed and Martinez and Herrera all on the same page. There was a possession where everybody was working together.
Amon Zayed, we haven't heard too much from him in this one. He's a true striker, a finisher. He's not going to create chances. He's going to finish them.
He's a poacher in the best sense of the term.
One of the recent additions to this squad. He was signed in late March. He's had a fascinating career as that's sent into the box and quickly knocked out. Zayed plays for the Libyan national team. His father's Libyan. His mother is Irish, and he grew up in Ireland. And so a lot of experience there in Ireland, but his international experience is with the Libyan national team. Spent the last 2 years of his career with Indy 11. Scored plenty of goals for them. Now he's looking to do the same for Charlotte. A team that struggled with injuries and struggled on the pitch. They've made some new additions, hoping to work things together. Touch back to Martinez. And now over to the right flank. Just outside the box with Foster, a shot wide.
Fantastic look, just goes to the left. But that's what Charlotte needs to do. The more they do that, the more they take their rips at Richie, the more opportunities that they are going to have to break this game wide open. Really impressed. 20 minutes of action so far against the best team in the East. And so far tonight, the best team has been Charlotte.
Charlotte with slightly better possession, 51.5% at the moment. Certainly more opportunities. But what can Cincinnati do here? He was onside the through ball, but that pass deflected as they were trying to centralize it. Looking for Koenig. Here's Ledesma. Some room. Takes a long shot. Decided to test Brandon Miller, but Miller was paying attention.
And here is what is so dangerous about Cincinnati. You talk about possession. Maybe 51-49 in favor of Charlotte, but Charlotte has had the better overall possessions. Cincinnati's got that number up around 49 because of what they've done in their defensive zone, what they've done in the middle, not really what they've done up front. But there was a possession where everything was going Cincinnati's way. Even when the defense was strong, Cincinnati was getting the ball back. Then it gets to the feet of Ledesma, and not the best effort he's ever had, but definitely challenged Miller.
Into the box, headed away. Now at the feet of Corbin Bone, he sends it forward. Still working now on this left wing. Being tracked down by Joel Johnson. Smith. Talked about the speed, finds Ledesma. Triple teamed, he's surrounded. And somehow will keep possession.
There's that creativity by Ledesma. But you saw how strong Smith can be as he's running forward. Intercepted for a moment and then just got his own rebound back.
Some room on the left, a shot taken. Miller is there.
Bone didn't quite get off the shot that he wanted to. The plant foot, that left foot, didn't really land where he wanted to, and he had to rush it a little too quick. Easier save than it looked like for Miller, but overall, you're starting to see Cincinnati gain a little bit of confidence and take their rips as the ball is the feet of Smith again.
23rd minute here at Sportsplex at Matthews in Charlotte. Again, I'm Corey Cohen with you. Bruce Silverman, my partner, our executive producer, Brian Duvall, and our director, Brian Navarro. And by the way, Bruce, the possession stats have since been updated to about 57% for Charlotte.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
An error there by Kanon, and cleans up for it at the end, but nearly a crucial error by the captain.
Yeah, and Zayed all-out run trying to get the loose ball so that he could take his opportunities on Richie. Everybody in the building wanting Mr. Broadley to point at the spot, but absolutely perfect no call.
Now on the right flank, Justin Hoyt, the fullback. Grew up in London, but plays for the Trinidad and Tobago national team.
Cincinnati just needs to be patient right now. They've got the numbers forward. They just need their opportunities.
They're certainly working up those possession numbers. Smith looking for something. Goes center. The nice pass, the extra touch. There's Hoyt. The cross, and that shot, just a horrible touch from Koenig.
Koenig with the whiff. And he wanted it. He called for it. He said exactly where he wanted it. The service was perfect. The timing by Koenig wasn't there, which was the reason why it didn't get anywhere close to Brandon Miller.
Koenig, the veteran, 31 years old, from Denmark. He was huge last season in the FC Cincinnati U.S. Open Cup run. Saw them make it to the semifinal. Hasn't started all the matches this season. This is only his fourth start. But he's appeared in almost all of them.
One of the advantages that Cincinnati has in having such a deep roster is the ability to rotate players around and keep them fresh. That will help them as the USL season goes on, and certainly as they open up the Cup, and they open up this week against Detroit City, and that should be an outstanding match in Cincinnati.
Yeah, both of these squads with an upcoming U.S. Open Cup match. Both of these squads certainly favored.
We'll have an opportunity to talk more about the Cup as the night goes on.
Yeah, there hasn't been an opportunity yet in this one. We're in the 26th minute. And while no goal has been scored, it's been compelling from the start, as it's been back and forth in a very even game for the most part.
Yeah, best scoring opportunity was early on. Herrera with the header, and it just went over the crossbar.
So here's Jung-Soo Lee, a vet from South Korea, 38 years old. This is his first experience in the United States. Spent his entire career in Korea, Japan, and a short stint in Qatar. Is that a handball? It was. There's about 4 FC Cincinnati players put their arms up calling for that one.
Yeah, that was one that Zayed wasn't going to win the argument on.
So a boot forward, nice one touch. The extra pass to Ledesma. He's got play on the right, finds Corbin Bone, a save from Brandon Miller. And Lahoud hits the deck, no foul. And Charlotte will keep things going, looking for a counter.
Great job by Brandon Miller to punch that one away and keep this game scoreless.
Martinez in the midfield, plays it back to Joel Johnson.
Charlotte just doing a great job of keeping in possession and moving forward, being patient, and just awaiting their opportunities.
Vines knocks it forward, but right into the paws of Richie.
Just missed opportunity there. Missed time runs.
Vines is with the Jacks on loan. He's just 18 years of age, was signed by the Colorado Rapids as a homegrown player, came up through their youth academy, and just before the season started was loaned to Charlotte.
One of the other things that I'm starting to notice is Corbin Bone is on the ball, is Richie Ryan has really not been a factor offensively or defensively. Defensively, Charlotte hasn't been going at him, and just as I'm talking about that, there's Richie right there. But neutralizing Richie Ryan is one of the reasons why Charlotte has been able to move the ball at will around this pitch.
The Irishman has been quiet in this one. Wonder how much of the formation has to do with that. A shot from about 19 yards out. It's headed by Kanon. And a foul called against the Independents. We'll see a free kick coming up here for FC Cincinnati.
I think it was Walker taken down by Herrera. But 30 minutes into this match, and if you're Mike Jeffries, you're happy with the level of play that you've had out of your side at this point. The question really comes down, can Charlotte play for the next hour the way they have in the first half hour?
And certainly in the second half, when we start to see some bench players talk about the depth that FC Cincinnati has. So we'll see if that's a factor into the box. And no harm, no foul there, as Richie Ryan attempted to get more involved, just could not get past the defender.
Well, Ledesma was trying to get at it, but was well defended and ushered back by Javon Watson to his keeper.
A slide tackle by Lahoud. And it's going to be a hydration break here in the 31st minute.
When it's 85 degrees outside, opportunity to get hydrated. The last thing that you want is players going down on a night like tonight where it is hot and it is humid.
Yeah, it should cool off in a little bit when the sun sets, about 10, 15 minutes. Take a look at the FC Cincinnati defense. There was Deckel Kanon, who made what seemed to be a crucial error and then found a way to make up for it almost instantly.
Yeah, it was very casual in the way that he kind of shut this one down and then just bounced right back up on the ball, almost nonchalant.
Well, again, he's a veteran, 33 years old, and he's seen it all between international experience with Israel and almost 300 caps for Maccabi Haifa. And so now he comes here, and that is his personality. It's laid back, it's cool, it's calm, it's collected, which is ultimately what you want from a center back's personality.
No, absolutely, and certainly what you want out of your captain as well. And the kids here in Charlotte having a great time on a late spring evening.
It's finally really heating up across the East Coast and across the nation, starting to feel like summer. Not too much of a spring, but no more worry about snow.
No, definitely no snow in the forecast, especially here in Charlotte, this battle between two Queen cities. And it's been a really well-played match on both sides. Charlotte's impressed me given the fact that their last 4 outings have resulted in losses, resulted in 4 straight games where they have not had a goal. And for Cincinnati, they've got to be a little frustrated coming into this match, knowing the way the Jacks have been playing. They would have expected that they would have been able to exert their will on this match. And so far, they just haven't been able to do that. They've had opportunities when they've gotten into the final third, but they really haven't had very good rips on goal. We've seen Ledesma with shots. We have seen Bone, who Koenig, who whiffed on one. Bone had an effort with that right foot. So they have gotten the shots in the direction of Brandon Miller, but they haven't gotten a tremendous amount of pace on them up until this point.
Hydration break over now. Back in play here in Charlotte. 34th minute. Heavy tackle there from Walker. And it is interesting for FC Cincinnati. This is a team that has scored 2+ goals in the past 4 matches. They haven't lost a game since April 7th. And they have looked somewhat laid back in this one, as now you're seeing a little bit more aggressive in the play there from Richie Ryan.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go in the middle and Richie Ryan is there. Interesting note is that Mike LaHood now on the right, and that's more of a natural position for Mike.
LaHood with 1 assist on the season thus far. Nice interception. It's back and forth now. The last touch from Richie Ryan. No foul, says the head referee.
There was an opportunity for Zayed just in the mouth of the 18, but he could not get his foot on it.
The ICC, that's the International Champions Cup, welcomes Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund to the heart of Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium on July 22nd.
Charlotte will build from the back. Javon Watson has that experience. He has the ability to be a playmaker from behind, and that's exactly what he was trying to do there.
Biggest summer event in Charlotte. Again, that's July 22nd. Bank of America
36th
Stadium
minute now.
for the International Champions Cup as Liverpool takes on
The other thing, Corey,
Borussia
is this been up until this point, it's been a really clean game.
Yes.
Hasn't been a lot of stoppage of play. The hardest hit was probably the one that Richie just handed out there.
And no bad blood, even when there is a bit of a hard foul. There's an understanding. It was not intentional, and both sides keep playing.
These are two clubs that are managed by the ultimate professionals. I mean, Alan is that way. Mike is that way. You would expect this game to be played exactly the way it's being played.
Header right back to Brandon Miller. And Mike Jeffries has been the head coach of the Independents since 2015. For Alan Koch, really done an incredible job with this FC Cincinnati club.
In his second year, and he had an unbelievable freshman campaign.
Can't ask for much better, though I'm sure he would have liked to win the USL Cup.
As well as the U.S. Open Cup.
I'm sure he would have liked to win that as well. But that run they had was really incredible.
Stand up and give us away.
No, it absolutely was. U.S. Open Cup a year ago was a wonderful tournament. And now with USL clubs entering the fray this coming Wednesday, should be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, they crashed the party last year as we see a foul called against Charlotte, and the fans do not like that one here at Sportsplex.
Yeah, that was an interesting call. We get to take another look at it, and we'll see exactly where the infraction. I can understand why they were looking in that direction. Cincinnati player going down, and that's often going to influence the call.
Ball in the box. Centralized. The shot taken. A goal! The Independents with their first goal in the last 5 matches, and they are on the board in the 38th minute.
Yeah, that was outstanding ball movement, outstanding effort by the Jacks. They've been knocking on the door all evening long, and they finally take it home. 1-0, 38th minute. The home club has got to be happy about this. Great ball movement and just that rip.
Cordell Cato with a brilliant shot. 25-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago with his 3rd goal of the season to put the Jacks up 1-0 here after they've played an excellent first half against the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Charlotte, we've been talking about it all evening long. The better of the two teams tonight. This is gut check time for both clubs, Corey. For Cincinnati, it's how do they finish the next 7+ minutes before they go to the locker room. For Charlotte, it's, hey, we've got the confidence. Can we build on this?
And certainly not a position that Charlotte has been used to as of late, playing with the lead, playing up. And for Cincinnati, likewise, they're not used to playing from behind, especially against a club that is significantly behind them in the standings. So as you said, it's gut check time. It'll be fascinating to see what happens here in the last 7 or so, give or take a couple minutes of this opening half.
Charlotte opened up the season 4-1 win over Ottawa Fury. And from there, they actually had a very good start until this bad run of form over the last 4 matches, with Cordell Cato getting his 3rd goal of the season. This changes things a little bit for Charlotte. For Charlotte, it's an opportunity to look at the fact that they played well at the beginning of this match. They have controlled the tempo of this match. For the most part, they have been the better team in this match. And for them to get the first goal, that's exactly what Mike Jeffries wanted. He wanted that early goal. That is something that they can build on. They can have the confidence from. So if they can close out this first half and go into the locker room up a goal, I think Jeffries is going to be very, very happy with the effort out of his squad.
A cross right into the torso of Javon Watson. And there's a foul from FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a rather easy one, climbing the ladder, and that knockdown from behind as you get a look at Zayed there. Big, strong, imposing striker. If Charlotte can get him more involved, because like we talked about, he likes to play back to goal. If they can get him service at his feet and he can turn and take his rips at Richie, Cincinnati could be facing their 2nd loss of the season.
Herrera plays it back to Ekra. Now Vines forward for Martinez. And taken away. Nice job by Corbin Bone.
It was a little too heavy for Herrera to be able to control and turn on.
Bone has been a little bit quiet in this one. He's scored in the last 3 matches for FC Cincinnati, reigning USL Team of the Week with Ledesma, who we noted at the top of the broadcast, coming off a phenomenal performance last week.
Now Cincinnati is starting to find form a little bit better. They're getting Richie Ryan more involved, and you see Richie with those one-touch passes. First time I ever met Richie, we sat down and had a conversation about his game, and he said, I'm doing my job if I touch it 1 or 2 times.
A lot of traffic there, and a hip check from Jung-Soo Lee. That'll be called a foul. The set piece, too eager there. A little too much power, and it's caught by Brandon Miller.
Yeah, Cincinnati in that opportunity was given the advantage, which is the reason why play did not stop.
You see there, this is the first lead that Charlotte has had since week 2. That was March 24th. And pretty incredible, again, this run that they've been on, and perhaps a bit of a dive there from Alex Martinez.
Not sure if that was so much of a dive as much as he just ran into Richie Ryan. Richie might be short, but he is stocky, he is solid. He's getting a conversation from Kevin Broadley right now. You see Zayed is coming over to join the conversation a little bit as well. Richie is a guy that just, he plays hard. He's a clean player, but he is certainly a guy that can dish it out as well as take it.
Entering the 44th minute of action now, again with Bruce Silverman. I'm Corey Cohen. Our producer is Brian Duvall. Our director, Brian Navarro. Charlotte is without a doubt playing aggressively after scoring their first goal. Again, their first lead since March, since week 2. And so this is pretty unfamiliar territory.
It may be unfamiliar territory, but the reality is when you've got professional teams like this, they'll take the lead. They'll take the lead and they'll try to build on it. And you see Richie, the more Richie Ryan gets involved in this game, the better it will go for Cincinnati. And right now, Cincinnati just playing with a little bit of frustration. They didn't jump on the plane and come here to Charlotte thinking that the Jacks were going to play this way. So when they get into the locker room, it is going to be, how do we, we'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah, no foul. And it'll be interesting if we could get a replay of that a little bit later to see what happens. Martinez, some fancy footwork. And there's a check from Lasso. Shocked that that was not called a foul. Now it's Ekra. On the right wing, Cato inside to Ekra in the box. Across. About 20 yards out. The shot taken by Foster. Over the post.
Charlotte just doing an incredible job of moving the ball around and creating chances, and Martinez getting more involved in the offense. That whole possession was indicative of what Charlotte has been doing all game long. That shot by Foster just a little high, but a great opportunity from distance. The ball just didn't dip.
Foster ripped it a little too hard. Here's FC Cincinnati hoping to take a shot before the half is up. Ledesma couldn't find a partner on that attack. And there's clearly a foul, a slide tackle called. And Kevin Broadley, the referee, no doubt about that one.
Yeah, one of the easier
and
calls
he's going to go for a yellow card, the first of the match.
Look at that for Ledesma.
So Ledesma picks up the yellow card here. He's having a conversation now with Herrera. Ledesma, it's interesting because it's pretty clear he does not believe that that was a foul, let alone a yellow card.
We'll take another look. And you see the reason he gets it from behind, not playing the ball at all, was playing the ball was on the left. He was playing the right side of his opponent, and an easy card for Broadley to hand out. So now we're already 1 minute into the 2 minutes of added time, and Ledesma goes into the book. And that's just a frustration foul. When things aren't going your way, that's what you do. It's kind of a silly foul because there was no reason for it.
Right, there was no, that play wasn't building up and about to turn into something. That header won by FC Cincinnati. Martinez, about 22 yards out, somehow keeps it and stays on his feet. Ekra finds the back of the net. From way out, he caught Spencer Ritchie asleep. And now a 2-0 lead for the Independents. A team on a 5-game winless streak is leading by a pair of goals heading into the half against the top team of the Eastern Conference.
Well, the top team in the Eastern Conference right now is in Charlotte, at least play-wise. That was the culmination of what the Jacks have been doing all night long. Martinez with a brilliant job of staying on the ball, and then this blast, just a blast by Ekra. Found the space, right foot, back of the net. 2-0 Jacks right before the intermission.
And you can't imagine Cincinnati will get a shot here as a goal kick coming up. And we'll likely see the end of the first half now after this goal kick. What a sensational job there. And again, Martinez setting up that goal. He's been phenomenal since about the 35th minute, and he has been orchestrating that offense.
Martinez, that was an individual effort.
As there is the halftime whistle.
That assist was absolutely brilliant. You know, Ekra will get all the credit for finishing it, but it was the way that Martinez set the table for that goal. We said that it was gut check time after that first goal at the 38th minute by Cato. What both of these teams were going to do before the intermission. Charlotte just set themselves up for 3 points. Cincinnati is going to go into the locker room. They're going to have very serious heart-to-heart conversations if they want to leave Charlotte with any points.
It's incredible what they've been able to do before the half. You talked about gut check time. Charlotte stepped on the gas even harder after scoring their first goal. That is why they are up 2-0 here at the intermission. Just an incredible job by the Jacks, not showing any fear with FC Cincinnati coming into their home stadium. And right now, as we head into halftime, we've got a lot for you. Stay with us, but it is 2-0. The Charlotte Independents with a lead, dominating FC Cincinnati, the top team in the East, at least for the moment. Keep it here, folks. We'll be right back here. It's halftime on ESPN+.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
Don't forget, fans, this Wednesday, May 16th, Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup action returns right here at the Sportsplex in Matthews as your Charlotte Independents begin their tournament journey to chase for glory as they take on Ocean City Nor'easters. Tickets are now available at charlotteindependence.com or by calling the front office.
It is halftime here. Charlotte Independents leading FC Cincinnati 2-0 after a goal in the 38th minute from Cordell Cato and in stoppage time from Ian Ekra. Just an unbelievable performance thus far from the Jacks against the team at the top of the leaderboard in the Eastern Conference, FC Cincinnati. For now, we will send it to USL Goals of the Week, see what happened in this past week around the league, the top goals.
Demente about to come in for Rodolfo's about to get under this ball in the area. He does. Nice little back pass, Johnson, and the equalizer evens the game at 1. Jamal Johnson, his 4th goal of the season.
So far, here's the Roughnecks though. Best run that they've had all game. Controlling it, shooting and scoring.
Pass slid away. Now a chance, a rip is in! Efrain Alvarez!
He's got my man in the match for sure.
Looking forward, Mare, he's onside. Monarchs have a chance. Mare, shot and goal! Juan Mare in the 91st minute of play.
Down at the same point in time, he just cuts the back of his heel.
Oh, what a ball here! It's McLaughlin!
Back here, let's take a look at the Wells Fargo standings. We'll start it off with the Eastern Conference, and clearly this match, a lot on the line. FC Cincinnati, you see there in the first spot, but after tonight, they might start to slip.
Yeah, right now, reverberations around the USL as they're looking at the halftime scores, and they're wondering, is it a typo that sees Cincinnati losing 2-0 to Charlotte? The Battery very interested in how this game ends up, as is Lou City. And how about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the newcomers to the league, Indy 11 sitting in 5th, tied with the Red Bulls 2. Rowdies in that playoff position, and Charlotte right now, if this game was to hold up, would pick up their 11th point.
Yeah, this was entering today, so we could very well see Charleston, Louisville City, Pittsburgh all jumping FC Cincinnati in the standings. Take a quick look at the West. You see Real Monarchs, no surprise, they're still at the tops. Phoenix, an exciting team, Sacramento, and then Orange County SC. They've got a game in just a couple of hours at 10 o'clock.
And for me, the team to watch right now is San Antonio. They're a team that when they're in form, they're very, very dangerous.
So that was our Wells Fargo standings. We'll now take another quick break to the Blake Down, and then after that, we'll come right back here on ESPN+.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Blake Down. I've got my good friend and roommate Cody Mizell with me. Welcome to the show, mate.
Jack, always a pleasure. Best haircut in USL.
We're going to be analysing the saves of the week this week, something slightly different. Cody will obviously give his critique on the goalkeeper, and I'll be able to give an analysis of the attacking play, so it should be a good one.
To the right side, blocked out of harm's way. Allows Restrepo to get back in. Casares a chance.
So it's a good couple actions here from Diego Restrepo. First, he's coming for a cross, looking like his 20-year-old self. Second one makes himself big and gets himself in a good position, and honestly makes a good save, push over the bar.
Yeah, from an attacking perspective, Fresno here, when Bustamante picks up the ball and Restrepo is literally 2 or 3 yards in front of him, he makes the great decision to pass it. It gives his team the opportunity in the defense of San Antonio to get back and get into a good position. So Restrepo makes a great decision. It's very forward thinking, it's on his front foot, and it's a fantastic play.
This one delivered in dangerously to the penalty area. Great save by Maxi Crepeau.
So this clip has a couple good things in it. First of all, a good decision from Crepeau to stand his line, and obviously when the header's in 6 yards out, makes a good decision, good feet, stands strong and makes a strong save to the right, keep his team in the game midway through the first half.
Yeah, and Kevin Pollitz takes advantage of losing his man. It's a great set piece, great ball in. One thing that maybe if he had the header again, he might choose to head it back across goal into the corner. You know, it makes it more difficult for the keeper to do that. But again, it's a fantastic effort on goal. Like Cody said, it's great reflexes from Crepeau, and it's a fantastic play.
Gets away from his defender, now sends it in towards goal. Headed save, Marcinkowski.
Marcinkowski, I think it's my vote for save of the week this week. Puts himself in a great spot to make the save. Well defended by his defender as well to have us back after a brilliant save.
Jacob probably has in his head to head it down. You know, when you head it down, it makes it more difficult for keepers when it's at their feet. And that's exactly what he does there. So in my opinion, he doesn't do anything wrong. He does the right thing and heads it down. And Martin Kowski, it's a fantastic save. You know, reflexes are fantastic on that play. I hope you all enjoyed episode 7 of the Blake Down, something slightly different this week. Thanks again, Cody, for coming on the show.
Chaco, pleasure working with you, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Back in action here, or excuse me, back at halftime here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Take a look at the USL news and notes. The attendance this season has been phenomenal. We saw last week the single week attendance mark, but throughout the season, it's really been an impressive feat.
Yeah, and the fans in Ottawa and Phoenix really taking to their clubs. You've got, wow, look at that. Pittsburgh, 8 games unbeaten, only undefeated team in the United Soccer League.
Who knew? All they had to do was switch logos, get the new logo, and now they are absolutely rolling.
And you know, they've got one of the prettiest venues in the league, just on that Allegheny, and just absolutely beautiful. And hats off to you. Gotta love it. Great job by the producers on that one. And Galaxy, big win over St. Louis on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they just dominated that one, St. Louis. The defense just completely collapsed. Take a look at moving forward. Starting tomorrow, you've got a big match, Louisville City FC going on the road to Nashville SC, and then looking at a couple midweek matches, you've got Bethlehem Red Bulls 2, then Atlanta United 2 against Toronto FC 2.
And then you got Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh. The Rowdies, always difficult at home. Pittsburgh, as we talked about a few moments ago, hottest team in the league. Opportunities to continue that streak.
So we will take another quick break. We'll come right back here from Charlotte. It is halftime, 2-0. Jacks leading FC Cincinnati. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're watching USL on ESPN+.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
We're back here. It is halftime, and folks, that is not a typo. Charlotte, a team that is currently on a 5-game winless streak, is up 2-0 over the top team in the Eastern Conference, FC Cincinnati. Wondering how we got here? Well, let's take a look at the highlights from the first half of action.
We got here because Charlotte came out of the locker room and they wanted to be the aggressors early on. This one fed into the middle, and Herrera just goes over the bar, and then a misstep by Richie, and nearly results in a goal. And so does that. And then Cincinnati has an opportunity. Ledesma from the outside.
Both teams sort of feeling out the other goalkeeper, seeing how attentive they are.
Bone tried to get that one on frame, but Miller was there. Zayed trying to make things happen. Charlotte wanted the advantage. They wanted the spot. They didn't get it. Big save by Miller.
Yeah, perhaps the best opportunity of the match for FC Cincinnati.
But then 403 minutes had gone by between Herrera's goal at the 85th minute back in March and that one by Cordell Cato in the 38th minute of this one.
And then Fozer deciding to give Richie a shot.
And that was until an absolutely unbelievable individual effort by Alex Martinez to feed Ekra. And Ekra just threads the needle and puts Charlotte up 2-0 going into the second half.
You saw Spencer Richie just fall on his backside. He was caught unprepared. We'll take a look at the stats now. You see Charlotte with a slightly better possession. Almost surprising that it's 52. You thought the way they were playing, especially after scoring their first goal, it might be closer to 60%.
Yeah, possession is one of those stats that I don't give a lot of credence to, because you can have the ball for 2% of the time, still win a game. It's what you do with it. It's the value of possession. And that's a stat that's not an official stat, but value possession is all Charlotte tonight, with the exception of a few opportunities in the final third by Cincinnati that Cincinnati has not really taken hard shots on Miller. It has been all Charlotte this evening.
So the second half just about ready to get underway here from Sportsplex at Matthews, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Corey, one of the things that hasn't really, it doesn't show up in the stat line with the exception of this. Emmanuel Ledesma had one shot, and it was kind of a weak shot. He is a guy that Cincinnati needs to get more involved with on the offense. But here is the interesting part of the way that Alan Koch is going to have to coach this match in the second half. Ledesma, because of a frustration foul in stoppage time, sitting on a yellow card. The only card handed out by Kevin Broadley in this match. The longer Ledesma is on this pitch, the more I believe he may be the first or second man substituted off by Koch, simply because they can't afford to go a man down, especially down 2 goals.
Absolutely, and it would be tough for Cincinnati to lose Ledesma for this match.
And McLaughlin actually in this match to start the second half.
47th minute here. Charlotte up 2-0, and now FC Cincinnati with the white kits heading from the right side of your screen to the left. A little too much power that time. And for the Independents, they're wearing the blue kits, and they are headed from the left side of your screen to the right.
So with McLaughlin in this game, they've got some firepower, trying to change some things a little bit for Cincinnati, as they have already changed sides. And you start seeing that they came out of the locker room a lot more aggressive, and they're going to have to be if they're going to want to make up this 2-goal deficit.
One touch there, but a nice header won by Jung-Soo Lee. Herrera plays it back to Ekra, the goal scorer from stoppage time. A nice run now from Joel Johnson, the speedy 25-year-old, across. Nothing doing there.
But Ekra getting the rebound, and that aggressive play. I mean, it shows a lot of fortitude by Charlotte, that Cincinnati comes out of the locker room and they're trying to go right down their throat, and then Cincinnati says, okay. Sorry about that, folks. A little too loud in your speakers at home, and a little too loud in our headsets, but we're back to normal volume. And right away, Charlotte trying to raise the volume here at the Sportsplex, and a third goal would certainly do that.
They are playing aggressively. We saw they scored their first goal and then actually became more aggressive, and they've kept it up here in this second half.
Cincinnati needs to find ways to get Richie Ryan more involved offensively. He is a guy that and I've said it before, he is the quarterback, and oftentimes the way Richie Ryan goes in a game is the way that his team goes in a game. He has been limited on touches offensively and defensively, and I think that's a big reason why Cincinnati's playing from behind.
Plenty of space here. Ryan plays it back, and now it's at the feet of Hoyt. Looked like he was off the face of Martinez. But he is not shaken. He's moving forward. Pass to Foster. Here's Cato, scored the first goal of the match.
And there's something that we didn't see the entire first half from Charlotte, is that long distance pass that's off the mark. They were going station to station. It worked very well for them. Very patient, very mature play in the first half from Charlotte. All Charlotte has to do is be patient and be smart, and they've got 3 points in this match.
Lahoud with a touch to Walker, who couldn't do anything with it. Here's Lahoud yet again. Native of Freetown, Sierra Leone. A foul will stop play. And so for FC Cincinnati, Jimmy McLaughlin came into the match for Blake Smith. And so they're adding a little bit more of an offensive player for Smith, the fullback. And so for Blake Smith, the New Mexico Lobo, his day is done. And for McLaughlin, his will start. Young player coming from Malvern, PA, in the Philly suburbs, right on the main line. Grew up through the FC Delco system, Delaware County, spent a year at Colgate, but came up then through the Union homegrown system, was signed as a Philadelphia Union homegrown player. Here's the ball in the box, an open net, and a goal! FC Cincinnati. Danny Koenig, the Danish.
Koenig taking advantage of Brandon Miller coming out of his office and not being able to cut off the angle. Cincinnati moving the ball very, very well. Starts with Ledesma, and Koenig getting past Javon Watson as Miller came out to cut off the angle. Koenig, cool, calm, collected, goal, 2-1. Cincinnati on the board in the 51st minute.
And we'll see how that affects things. Brilliant pass from Ledesma. It got Miller to come out of the box. He fell for it. And then, of course, the open net, and Koenig doing a great job to finish.
But a great job by Charlotte to come right back the other way and press and take their opportunities. Charlotte now, we talked about the gut check when they picked up the first goal at the 38th minute by Cato, how they would respond, and they responded well by the stoppage time goal by Ekra. Now it's gut check time for Charlotte. They played brilliantly in the first half. Now they see a change by Alan Koch, taking out Blake Smith, inserting McLaughlin. So now you have Lahoud and McLaughlin on that left side. They're more aggressive in the second half, really taking it, spending more time on this side of the pitch. How is Charlotte going to answer so far on this possession? Well, I spoke too soon. I was almost going to say so far so good, but here's Cincinnati.
As the broadcaster's jinx for FC Cincinnati, Jimmy McLaughlin wearing number 20. And for FC Cincinnati, playing from an unfamiliar position, it was their first 2-goal deficit that they've had at any point this season. We mentioned for Charlotte, it was their first time playing with a lead since week 2. So these are two clubs not used to how things have played out. I mentioned at the very top of the broadcast, two teams heading in opposite directions. And for Charlotte, they played phenomenally coming out of this. FC Cincinnati could not keep up with them. And so now they're both trying to figure out this new position where they are. No foul there called on the Jacks. Instead, Herrera is sprinting forward. Martinez looking to set up a play. Finds Kai Fozer. Center in the box. Martinez, it's knocked and punched away, or slapped away, I should say, by Ritchie. Jacks still moving. Fozer, now Cato, the first goal scorer of the evening. He's got space here. Small one-touch, and Ritchie comes off his line to pick that one up.
And that was not a shot. That was a pass intended for Herrera. Herrera was breaking left when he needed to break right. Gets into the hands of Ritchie. That was a very long possession. Possession started in the final third with Zayed being that target man. He had his back to goal, trying to get that ball to be able to turn around. That didn't quite work out. And you see Martinez getting active again. We talked about it before the Cato goal. The more active Martinez, Herrera, and Zayed were together, the better things were going to go for Charlotte.
Through ball now in the box, the shot. Brilliant save by Miller. It did go right to him, but the reaction time to get down low, as that was a roller, was excellent.
And what's happening right now is the more pressure that Cincinnati is putting on the Jacks, the more that Ekra, Vines, Watson, and Lee need to step up. And because of the pace of play, as we see right here, Cincinnati is getting behind those defenders with the ball at their feet. That's why we saw the goal just a few minutes ago by Koenig. That's why the opportunities continue to come for Cincinnati.
So here's Jung-Soo Lee. Was questionable for this one with a hamstring injury, playing just his third match this season. Here comes the Independents. The nice one touch on the right for Cato. Nice grab from Ritchie.
Cato had to pull back on that one. If he had taken a shot at the ball, he may very well have kicked Spencer Ritchie in the head. But here comes Charlotte once again.
Boy, both of these teams have turned this one all the way up to an 11.
Yeah, this is becoming a track meet, but not a dump and chase track meet. This has become, especially since the second stanza began, this has become a station-to-station, back-and-forth match. And it's not because the teams aren't playing well defensively, it's because they're playing so well offensively.
You saw there Martinez just dribbling around a defender. Nice one-touch. Foster, the goal! The Independents now lead 3-1 over the top team in the Eastern Conference. And the Swiss National puts the Jacks back up by 2.
Great answer to that Koenig goal. Very patient, excellent ball movement, station to station. Foster finishes. But who starts this once again? It is Martinez. Martinez, the back heel by Herrera, and Foster makes it another 2-goal lead for the Jacks.
The one shame in soccer, sometimes you talk about the hockey assist where you give two guys credit for an assist. That one, it will go in the books as an assist from Herrera. But you are absolutely right, Bruce. That was set up and just completely organized by Alex Martinez, who made a brilliant pass, and it was a great one-touch from Herrera, from the captain. But Martinez orchestrated that entirely.
We're in the 58th minute. The score is 3-1. If I said to anybody who follows USL soccer, if after 58 minutes I told you a game between Charlotte and Cincinnati was being played, and I asked who was going to be in the lead, they would have said Cincinnati.
Any single person.
All right, but instead, the goals have been spread around. Cato, Ekra, Fosser. But my man of the match so far, Alex Martinez.
Absolutely. Nice job defensively there. Joel Johnson getting a touch. Now moving forward. Johnson sprinting on the right. Cato instead finds Herrera, and they'll work backwards. Yeah, heading into this one, you've got Charlotte, a team that has not scored in their last 4 matches. You think maybe they can find the back of the net. Maybe if it's 3-1, yeah, I could see them perhaps getting a goal. And for FC Cincinnati, a team that has scored 2+ in their last 4 matches, you figure, yeah, they're going to finish 3-4 goals. I could see anyone saying, yes, this is going to be 3-1, and every single person would say FC Cincinnati in the lead. The fact that the Independents, who have been starving for a goal, have gotten 3 against this impeccable FC Cincinnati team is a huge credit to the Jacks.
And they keep putting pressure on. They're not satisfied as Lahoud sends it past the goal line. Corner coming up. They're not satisfied with the 3-goal lead. This is the game that Mike Jeffries has been waiting for all season long. Think about it. They opened up 4-1 win against the Fury. They haven't had that type of goal output since. This is the type of soccer that Jeffries wanted to play, and we're just at the 1 hour mark.
It's absolutely incredible. Now in the 60th minute, Fosser will take this corner kick. And certainly a foul there called against Joel Johnson. And you don't like to see this.
And he's going to need assistance here in the 61st minute.
And take a look at the replay. Ledesma up there. And seems to be on his left side, and he's just squirming.
Yeah, Ledesma was coming in hard, so 2 bodies going in the same direction is not going to be comfortable, especially with Ledesma getting the worst end of that. But you look at the way this season has been going with Cincinnati. They open up in Charleston, they get the 1-0 win. They go to Indy, and they get the 1-0 win. Then they are at home for the first time. They lose 1-0. And then they go on the road again. They've been on the road for the majority of the season. They get the 1-1 draw in Bethlehem. Then they get the 2-2 draw against Pittsburgh. Then they start to go on the 3-game win streak that they're on right now. 3-0 output at Ottawa. Then they've got another one with Indy. They win 3-2. Then they're at home a week ago, a 4-2 output. This is the first time Charlotte, and you look at the home cooking, 3 goals tonight. Charlotte's 3 goals were only an hour in. That's the most goals that Cincinnati has given up all season long.
It's incredible. I mean, not only is FC Cincinnati at the top of the table in the East in first place, they're also in the East tied for the best goal differential in the conference. They were +7 entering tonight, and that has certainly taken a hit here as they've given up 3 goals. And in one case, it was their goalkeeper, as you see, Ledesma, looks around the spleen area, on the left torso, and so you hope he's all right, and we'll see if he can re-enter the match. But there was one goal that you could put pretty plainly on Spencer Ritchie in goal, the one just at the end of the half and stoppage time, the goal from Ekra. But the other 2 were
He was, in fairness to Ritchie on that one, Martinez with great ball movement in the middle was able to get it out to Ekra. Ekra found the one route to goal And I'm not even sure what kind of vantage point Richie really had. There were a lot of bodies wearing white and blue in front of him, and by the time Ekra got that ball at his feet, I'm not even sure if Richie saw the shot getting off.
And the other 2 goals, I don't even know if there's anyone that you can blame on FC Cincinnati. There was no clear breakdown from the center backs, from Kanon, from Lasso. It was just brilliant offense, led primarily by that orchestrator, Alex Martinez, but finding a way to get the ball to his teammates and find the back of the net.
Anybody looking around the USL tonight, and a lot of games in action, a lot of people watching the scoreboards are looking at this scoreboard right now and scratching their head. And if they're not watching the match, they're wondering, how is it possible that Charlotte is up 3-1? If you're watching this match, from the outset, you know why Charlotte is up by 2 goals, because they have simply been that good.
You see there the cross and a bit of a slip and slide there in the box. Herrera couldn't do anything with that, but he appreciated the cross coming from Ekra. The Jacks still working forward now. Look at that, Martinez dribbling around 2 defenders, keeping possession, taking a shot, and Richie is there. But the resilience from Martinez when he is pressed with 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 defenders to keep possession and find a teammate, it's incredible. We'll take another look at it.
The individual effort by Alex Martinez all night long has you used the word, Corey, nothing short of brilliant.
Martinez, a native of Montevideo, Uruguay, went to North Carolina State. And
a few hours away.
Yeah, remains just the trip down from Raleigh to Charlotte. And you talk about some of the new pieces that have come here. Zayed, who was signed in late March. Watson, who's new to the club. Martinez has been here since 2015, so it makes sense that he's been the conductor for this squad. He and Herrera have both been here since that 2015 season.
Yeah, and since Martinez really started to insert himself into the action in that final third, things have gone right for Charlotte this evening. And you talked about it, a lot of new faces for the Independents this year, taken a while for them to gel. Mike Jeffries told me earlier this week that his squad needed to step up and play their best against the best. And through 65, 66 minutes, that's exactly what he's gotten out of his squad.
On the right flank, 66th minute. Centralizes it. Lahoud, the pass to Ledesma, the flick, and a foul will give FC Cincinnati a free kick about 19 yards out. Straight up.
And here's where Kevin Broadley needs to do a good job of making sure that the tempers don't flare up. Cincinnati with an opportunity from just outside the box. But frustration easily can set in. You see Watson and Walker having a conversation. Watson walks away. I do not believe that they're discussing dinner plans this evening. And Ledesma looks like he's going to be taking this one and going to get a good look at the foul. And I'm not so certain that was foul worthy, as Watson gets the yellow card. He was standing right where Ledesma is right now, but he was looking at his goalkeeper.
Right, there was contact, but and I perhaps understand the foul and the set piece. I really don't understand the yellow unless it was perhaps for arguing. But there was no way that was intentional.
And you see the frustration on the face of Zayed, and he's actually having a laugh with Watson. And again, Watson had his back to the play. Broadley goes to his pocket, and
the yellow given to Alex Martinez.
So that will be for dissension.
Charlotte's got to worry a little bit about that. If Cincinnati can score here, it's a one-goal game, and now you've got Martinez with a yellow. You never know what could happen. The whistle blows. Ledesma, incredible save by Brandon Miller.
He's been punching the ball away all night long.
The 69th minute, Brandon Miller coming with an impeccable punch on just a rocket from Emmanuel Ledesma, the man that scored 2 goals last week to get onto the USL Team of the Week. The corner here in the 69th. Another punch from Miller. Off the bounce. Not much that Richie Ryan could do there. And now Ledesma has to chase it all the way back.
Yeah, Miller's been nearly perfect this evening with the exception of coming out a little too early and getting beat by Koenig in the 51st minute. He's been outstanding.
That header from Watson, and actually a foul called against Cincinnati. So we'll take another look at the shot here.
Ledesma, that left foot, went right at it, found an opening in that very large wall, and Miller comes up big. And trying to see who that is that's down right now. Is it Ledesma?
It is Ledesma.
And he has spent nearly as much time on the grass tonight as he has on his feet. And he's holding that left side again.
I'm wondering, you're now in the 70th minute. He spent a good amount of this time, as you said, in this half, down on the pitch. He's holding a yellow card that he picked up in the 46th minute, 45th minute plus stoppage time. And you're wondering if perhaps you sub him off, even though he's an incredible goal scorer. You want his offense. But playing the long game, do you sub him off and go to the bench?
The way he's holding that left side and the way he's been taking his knocks recently, got to believe that that is exactly where Cincinnati is going to go. They have some options. They can go. So number 10 will be coming into the game for
Emery
Cincinnati.
Welshman.
Welshman, who played a year ago in Puerto Rico, will check in, and Ledesma with a very hard night's work.
So Welshman from Mississauga, Ontario, went to Oregon State and was drafted in the 2013 MLS Super Draft, 13th overall by Toronto. He has a yellow card. Just a moment, there's a yellow card called against Richie Ryan.
Got to believe that that one in the 71st minute.
And he picked up his arm is bleeding.
So he'll be sent off for that. So probably had a little bit of a conversation with Mr. Broadley about that. So he'll be cleaned up and then bandaged up. So right now, Cincinnati will play a couple of moments down a man. I was anticipating that Ledesma would be subbed out at some point. If you remember when we opened up the second half, talked about how Alan Koch was going to have to think about subbing Ledesma at some point, and I figured he would be the first or second substitution. At that point, when I was starting that conversation, didn't know that Jimmy McLaughlin had already checked into the game for Blake Smith. Makes a lot of sense that Ledesma comes out for two reasons. One, the fact that he was sitting on the yellow card. The second, because of that injury to that left side. And now what Charlotte needs to do is work on exerting themselves in this final third as they are right now.
The shot wide, well wide from Fosser.
Fosser was unable to plant that left foot to be able to set up the direction of where he wanted this shot to go. Because he wasn't able to plant, he swept through the right foot rather than planting it down and being able to better direction this shot on goal. He had the angle. If he plants down the left foot, he's got that right post. But instead, he goes wide left.
And not a ton of options left for FC Cincinnati when you're talking about perhaps someone to come off the bench and provide a spark. And now we see Richie Ryan back onto the pitch. And a lot of aggressiveness there. He clearly frustrated.
And Richie Ryan needs to be careful. Now that he's sitting on that yellow card he got a few moments ago, he can be an aggressive player. And you saw he was trying to play for the ball, and you saw him try to wrap up his opponent. He wraps up his opponent, and he is not in a good position for the referee to really see what he's trying to do. He can very easily put his club down a man.
Here's Lahoud, 74th minute. On the left flank, it's McLaughlin. And there's a foul. You talk about wrapping someone up. And no doubt about that one, as Kenny Walker wrapped up.
Charlotte, they can taste the 3 points right now. They can absolutely taste it. What they need to do is just continue to play their game. From the opening whistle for the last 74 minutes, they have been playing brilliant football. They have barely made a mistake. They've played with control. They played with discipline. They have done everything that Mike Jeffries asked of them to do this week. They just need to finish the drill.
A handball and a yellow card. And I'll have to look again. And okay, now things are getting incredibly testy between Lahoud and Joel Johnson.
And in fairness to Lahoud, he was just trying to help Johnson up. Johnson's hurt, and he didn't want to be helped up at this point. But Mike Lahoud is one of the nicest, cleanest, classiest players that you will find in this game. And he was just trying to help Joel Johnson up. Johnson, it didn't matter who was trying to help Johnson up right now. You'll see why.
So it's a handball, and then a little bit of a knock to Johnson.
And he gets kicked in the back, and he just needed to be able to catch his breath. And Lahoud trying to help him up, he was just not ready to get up at that moment.
And so he gave a shove there to Lahoud. It was a misunderstanding, but things got a little testy, and so there was the yellow for that kick to the back, slight kick to the back on Lasso. Cato tries to send it forward into a crowded space.
And Richie Ryan doing what Richie Ryan does, is just stepping in front of that pass and knocking it away.
And the way things have gone the past few minutes of this game, things have been testy. As you see here, Martinez will give no, it's going to be a corner kick. It certainly looked like it was a goal kick.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it will be Charlotte heading to the corner. Yeah, this game's going to get a little bit more chippy because of the pace of play and because of some of the knocks that have been taking place on both sides, but also because Cincinnati finds themselves in very unfamiliar territory, being down 2 goals for the second time this season, both of them in this game.
Yeah, you figure they've got to be incredibly frustrated as that's headed away. You're wondering, can they find 2 goals and earn a point? And another chippy play, perhaps a little bit reckless. That time from Emery Welshman. Here's Cato, the cross, and that's knocked. We'll see another corner kick for the Independents.
What I like about what what Charlotte is doing right now is they have not taken their foot off the gas. They have put it all the way down to the floor. They are putting everything they can into 90 minutes of football before they even turn their attention to the U.S. Open Cup. They got Ocean City coming into town. They go short on this one.
Third corner of the match for Charlotte. And if anything, you talk about the way that the Independents have been playing. Incredible job there, Joel Johnson. The ball's in the box. And it's now cleared away. If anything, FC Cincinnati looks like they've sort of taken their foot off the gas. Ledesma out of the match. Koenig has already found the back of the net once. You're not sure if he can do it again. Kenny Walker is there, who's got 3 goals to his name this season, but you're not really sure if you're FC Cincinnati how you're going to find a way to score 2 more goals. And in a way, they just seem frustrated and not 100% focused on finding a way to score those 2 goals, as we see a foul there. But actually, perhaps no foul, it's just a throw-in.
Well, what happened in this second half is that Cincinnati came out red hot. They were controlling the pace of play. They get a goal. And then Charlotte just answered back. Charlotte has not gotten away from their game plan despite whatever Cincinnati has brought to their doorstep. They have had the answer time and time again. They get the goal. They get a goal right before intermission. Koenig at 51. And then you're going to see what happens right here. Looks like Richie just whiffs on it, but nonetheless,
it
the
looked
advantage.
like a foul, but if he didn't touch him, then they just let that ball roll out of play.
In real time, I understand the call.
That's headed, the extra header right into the paws of Brandon Miller, but a heads-up play from the keeper for Charlotte.
Yeah, Welshman, who just came into this game about 8-9 minutes ago, was able to put his head on it. Nice ball movement, nice play, and Miller just continuing the night he's had.
So Cincinnati looking for some chances. They're going to want a point out of this match. They're going to have to score their 2nd goal of the game pretty soon here, or it becomes a next to impossible task ahead of them.
Yeah, with just over 10 minutes left in this game, Cincinnati is going to need just an effort from Hercules to be able to get back into this match. Charlotte just continues to try to drive the ball down Cincinnati's throat.
Jack's House Soccer Bar and Retail Store located in the Elizabeth neighborhood. Their American Legion Memorial Stadium is now open for independents and soccer fans alike. For event dates and bar hours, follow Jack's House on Twitter.
Joel Johnson picking up that loose ball, just playing great defense. He has just been really, really solid all night long on that back line for Charlotte.
81st minute. Dekel Kanan seemed a bit frustrated with the fact that his teammates weren't making runs that he was hoping to see. Some contact there from Kanan. And now a counterattack. Being led on the right flank by Cordell Cato. Started it all in the 38th minute.
Jeffrey said he wanted his team to be better in transition. They've been better than Cincinnati all night long in transition.
The conductor, Martinez, that's a slow roller, and it goes wide. But I believe it was deflected. That's what Martinez is saying.
That's what everybody in the building that is either wearing a Jacks jersey or a Jacks fan, and that's the way that it's going to go. So everybody will stay here. We'll be able to see maybe who it went off of.
And it was
fingertips of Spencer Ritchie.
So Martinez trying to find the back of the net, hasn't been able to, but has been instrumental in what the Jacks have been able to do tonight.
About the only thing that Alex Martinez has not done this evening is scored a goal. And I go back to it, Corey, and I said this about 20 minutes ago. For me, Alex Martinez, despite not having a goal, is the man of the match for the Jacks.
I agree. It's pretty incredible how much Herrera and Martinez have done, and yet neither one has scored.
But both have assists.
Both have assists. Herrera with 2, Martinez with 1. Martinez with that Foster goal again. Maybe a hockey assist for him. So they've both been instrumental and likely the two best players in this match. And yet, neither one has gotten a goal themselves. They've just set up their teammates brilliantly.
Well, and it's that unselfishness, which is the reason why Charlotte has this 3-1 advantage at this moment, because they have played so well as a team, as Broadley puts down the Barbasol. And this is where Richie Ryan makes his living. So right now you have Richie Ryan on the set piece.
84th minute, into the box. That header just past Brandon Miller, but nothing there. It's taken now to the Wells Fargo save of the game.
And there's been a few of them that you can point out for Stephen Miller, but outstretched just brilliantly, punching it away.
And I believe that's when the score was still 0-0. And so the momentum of this game could have been changed if Cincinnati found a way to get a goal there. But
Tony
alas.
Amiobi checks in for Cincinnati.
So Koenig's day is done. And now Herrera screaming at Dekel Kanan. Seemed like there was a foul there, but Herrera, the gesture was like he was threatening to punch him. So we'll take a look at that foul. So he climbed the ladder, sort of went over the back, and then there's, you see, it seemed unintentional from Kanan, but put his arm out, and that ended up going to Herrera's neck.
Earns the booking in the 85th minute as Amiobi comes in.
So Kanan with that yellow.
So we'll have a little bit of additional time coming up.
Now Kanan, both center backs, by the way, now have yellows for FC Cincinnati. Kanan with this, and about 10 minutes ago, Lasso picked up a yellow card.
Yeah, 4 overall on the night for the visitors. Only 1 for the home squad, and now long distance, but an opportunity on the set piece for Charlotte to extend their lead.
Ekra. Cato. Lahoud is there and knocks it out of play.
So impressed tonight with the Jacks passing, even though the passing lanes have been very, very narrow. Charlotte doing a fantastic job of just finding the space, threading the needle, and being able to take it and control it so well, especially in the final third. You see this great battle. Lahoud won that one momentarily.
Zayed finds it, now it's knocked out, and Charlotte will keep it now in the 87th.
You just see the football IQ of Michael Lahoud in that corner. You watch Richie Ryan, and he just looks so cool all the time in terms of his play. It's very nonchalant, but very, very technical in the way that he distributes the ball.
This game announced as a sellout. Sportsplex at Matthews. Here's Foster. The extra pass, the shot. A 4th goal of the night for Charlotte. And finally, Zayed finds the back of the net. The striker with his first goal as a Jack.
That one coming at the end of the 87th minute. But what a night in Charlotte. Sellout crowd. The Irishman gets the goal. Everybody on that offensive line involved in this one. And Foster gets an assist to go with the goal. Corey, you remember When this game was 0-0, I said Charlotte is the better of the two teams on this pitch. Sometimes the better of the two teams does not win. But I said that if the Jacks could get Zayed, Herrera, and Martinez involved in this match, they would win. And with minutes left and up by 3, that's exactly what Mike Jeffrey's club has done this evening.
It's incredible how much of a team effort it has been. You talk about Herrera and Martinez, neither scoring a goal, but instrumental in all of them until that final goal. Just brilliant across the pitch, especially Martinez setting everything up. Foster scored and then assisted on that Zayed goal, so Zayed now in it. Cato got things started. The goal from Ekra right before the end of the first half. It has been an incredible team effort, and guys who haven't scored or assisted have been great. Joel Johnson has been all up and down the pitch sprinting for Charlotte. It's been a great effort for the Independents. That's why they've scored 4 goals, and they've only given up 1 to a team that came in at the top of the Eastern Conference with a +7 goal differential. And here's Corbin Bone, reigning USL Team of the Week, and just disarmed almost instantly by Ian Ekra.
So Cordell Cato, his night over for Charlotte after getting that opening goal, as we're going to see a substitution here in a moment. And
Jake Armand
will be coming in for him, and this is only the first substitution of the evening for Charlotte. The way that Charlotte came out of the gates in this match and put their foot down on the gas, you would have thought this game was being played in the infield at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, because that is how fast and precise the Independents have played tonight.
Handball there, or foul. Either way, that'll be Charlotte ball. Armand coming in, just 23 years of age, graduated from Monmouth last spring. He's played 26 minutes this season.
So we'll get a few minutes additional work this evening. But I cannot stress enough how well Charlotte has played. Mike Jeffries talked to me earlier in the week and said we just need to be better in transition. Not only have they been better in transition, not only have they been better going forward than they have been in the early part of this season, they have been the better team in transition, the better team moving forward. Another example of it.
And there it was again. And so 2 subs entering, but we'll take a look at the 4 goals from the Independents. Started things off with Cordell Cato, his 3rd goal of the season. Then you saw that one, Foster was the 3rd, and then Zayed with the nightcap.
And you're going to see 2 more substitutions for Charlotte, as we're going to have 2 minutes of added time for your viewing pleasure. And in is coming Perez, number 20, and also
Steedman, 21.
And Herrera will get his applause as he's coming out for Perez.
So Herrera not able to find the back of the net, but he did assist 2 goals and just did an incredible job leading that offense as a veteran.
And Zayed gets the round of applause for an outstanding effort this evening as well, picking up a goal in the 87th minute. And so the rest of this match should pretty much be academic for the Jacks, as they will pick up 3 points. They go 4 games without scoring a goal, and then they answer by putting on 4 against the best team in the East. So just moments left before this one is over. Corey, it's been an absolute pleasure, and really been a pleasure to watch a very well-played match. And surprisingly, we talked about it on paper, it should have been Cincinnati 4-1, but this is why they play.
Exactly. Anyone, before this match, you tell anyone, final score is going to be 4-1. Every single person, perhaps maybe a diehard Charlotte Independence fan, almost every single person would say, yeah, that's going to be Cincinnati scoring 4 goals. That's what they do. And yeah, Charlotte can find the back of the net once. It has been a masterclass from the Independents on how to defeat FC Cincinnati, a team that is certainly going to make a lot of noise throughout the season. They're still up there in the standings. They will fall from first place, but this is an excellent club. They're going to have to rebound after this. And for Charlotte, they hope that this is the turning point of their season.
Yeah, you talk about a master class on how to beat Cincinnati. There are a lot of teams in the East that are going to watch this tape and say, this is the game plan on how to shut them down, because that's exactly what Charlotte has done this evening.
There's the final whistle. The Charlotte Independents have not just defeated, but have dominated FC Cincinnati, the team at the top of the table in the East, but not anymore. The Jacks win this one 4-1. Just an incredible victory with goals from Cato, Ekra, Fosser, and Zayed. A goal on the other end for FC Cincy from Koenig.
Mike Jeffries told me soccer is a game that is made for upsets. He could not have been more accurate than what his squad did tonight. Congratulations to Mike Jeffries and the Jacks on this 4-1 domination over FC Cincinnati.
We want to thank you all so much for joining us for this one. Charlotte Independents again, one final time. They win 4-1 over FC Cincinnati. For our director, Brian Navarro, our producer, Brian Duvall, for my partner, Bruce Silverman, I'm Corey Cohen, signing off from ESPN+.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.